Hey there. Today, I'm proud to show off something really cool. We helped launch a better bundle site. If you spend a few moments on Steam, you might notice a huge problem. Discovery sucks. There's more shovelware, asset flips, and AI slop being pushed out there every single day. Sifting through this mess for something new and exciting is nearly impossible, recommendations are busted, and tags are a joke. And buying individual games from Steam can get expensive. Bundle sites and resellers aren't much better. A lot of the time you end up with a bunch of shovelware or games you already own. I know I've got dozens of humble keys that I'll never use at this point. So what's the solution? Here's Digiphile.co. It's a new way to get quality games in your hands that won't waste your time, break your wallet, or bloat your library with a bunch of stuff that you're never gonna play. You're probably thinking, is this a sponsored video? Not in the way you might think. Meet Alex and Andy, two passionate gamers that are just as frustrated about the state of Steam as we are. I asked them directly, why approach us instead of some big name influencer that gets like 100,000 views a day? Specifically, they told me that they didn't want to go that route. They would rather find partners that are just as passionate about finding new games to help curate every single thing that goes onto their site. After hours of meetings and a few hundred emails later, we created a launch bundle that includes 7 of the wildest, weirdest, and best immersive sims to come out of small studios in the last couple years. If these games look familiar, well, that's because each one was carefully selected from the previous roundups and reviews on this very channel. None have ever been at a price this low, inside bundles or not, so that's a bonus. We've partnered up with Digiphile because they share our belief that good games should be played, and what you can't play, you should be able to trade. If that already sounds good to you, you can head down to the link in the description or the pinned comment right now. But if you want to know more about how Digiphile does it differently, stick around. So what's inside the Return of the Immersive Sim Collection? At the $20 tier, we have one of my all-time favorites, the System Shock 2 25th Anniversary Remaster and the Cyber Poland simulator Peripetia. System Shock 2 continues decades after the Citadel Station incident from the first game. You wake up from cryosleep on the Von Braun, the first vessel ever capable of faster-than-light travel. But something is really wrong. Many of the ship systems have been damaged or taken offline, the corridors are filled with dangerous radiation leaks, and the crew has been reduced to creepy parasite-ridden zombies that roam the hallways begging for death. It's time to figure out where everything went wrong and find a way to escape, hopefully with your head still worm-free. System Shock 2 is a complex game with crunchy RPG stats and immersive systems galore. Weapons require proper training and repairs, and combat is extremely tense. Knowing which type of ammunition to load up means the difference between life and death. Stats govern everything you do, including how well you hack, how quickly you move, and how much you carry. Cybernetic upgrades and psychic powers all come together to make this one of the deepest and most memorable immersive sims of all time. The 25th Anniversary Remaster is probably the best and easiest way to experience the game nowadays, and it even includes co-op support if you want to creep through the halls with a couple of friends. From the chilling cyberpunk storyline to the return of its unforgettable AI antagonist, System Shock 2 is clearly one of the most influential releases of the 1990s, and every developer on this list owes it at least a little bit of credit. Just make sure you watch out for the psychic monkeys. Peripetia is a game that's hard to name, but if you like anime-inspired cyberpunk and grungy late 90s game feel, this is a dream come true. At the start, you wake up in a trash heap inside the body of a discarded amnesiac cyborg. From these humble beginnings, you'll embark on a dangerous journey across the rainy monolithic structures of Cyber Poland in pursuit of personal truth. Each mission you complete for the game's rival factions lands you one step closer to reconstructing your lost memories, and along the way you'll experience an unforgettable atmosphere, fascinating NPCs, and giant levels filled with secrets. Micromanage a massive arsenal of Soviet-flavored weaponry. Take down dangerous militias and cybernetic monstrosities in tense tactical firefights. Crack open alternate paths and escape routes with a unique hacking system. Trade in for replacement parts and modifications that give you a super-powered edge. Hey, any game that allows you to parkour up some walls, hack enemy brains, and pull some bullet-dodging matrix moves instantly wins me over. And if you need some downtime, Just take a beat between missions to play some cassettes and talk to your creepy neighbor. Or your cactus. Peripetia includes 5 levels in its early access build, which sounds small until you realize that even a single level can have hours of gameplay and exploration. It's a worthy addition to the growing indie immersive sim scene. At the $13 tier, we have the System Shock remake, Shadows of Doubt, and Fallen Aces. System Shock is where the story of Shodan begins. You play as a nameless hacker that gets caught putting their fingers where they don't belong. A greasy Trioptimum Corp exec offers you a deal with the devil. Jailbreak his fancy pet AI so that it doesn't have any regard for human life, and you'll get your sentence waived in return with a fancy hacking implant as a bonus. You get shuttled above Citadel Station until your healing coma is complete, and after waking up from a half-year nap, you pop out of the freezer and notice that, hey, something's off. Service robots are acting a little weird, and there's no medical staff to greet you. In fact, the only humanoids you run into are less than talkative. It's time to find a way through this neon nightmare and escape Citadel Station with your life. Hopefully. The original System Shock was an intense cyberpunk dungeon crawler that contained a wealth of weaponry, piles of equipment, a genuine feeling of isolation, and Shodan, a power-mad, self-aware AI that taunts the player at every turn.
And you will learn more about pain than you ever wanted to know.
The remake revives all these memorable moments, down to the claustrophobic hallways, while adding modern-day tweaks to streamline the interface and the arsenal. And yet, the halls of Citadel Station feel just as alien and horrifying as they did all the way back in the 1990s. It's easy to see why Night Dive's remake is one of the best entry points for anyone looking to experience a founding pillar of the immersive sim genre. Shadows of Doubt is an incredibly ambitious breaking and entering simulator. Step into an intricate, procedurally generated city simulation where your primary weapon is forensics, and your secondary weapon is your pair of pixelated meat beaters. Violence is a last resort that usually doesn't end very well. Instead, you'll mostly be trying to solve crimes rather than perpetrate them. But you'll be perpetrating plenty on your way to solving them. Why? Because you're a private detective for hire, willing to work for the lowest bidder. As a detective, you'll experience the glory of scanning fingerprints, breaking into computers, and reading people's discarded bagel shop receipts. Case details get added to your mental Pepe Sylvia board. It's tough to get every piece of evidence you need for a solid conviction, but hey, since this is a dystopia, the municipal government doesn't really seem to mind. They'll just dock your pay a little bit if you get some of the facts wrong. But I usually found it was most fun just to break into places and poke around like some kind of lock-picking hobo. Shadows of Doubt is incredibly ambitious and complex, and there's a lot of pages to turn in the never-ending mystery novel that it presents. Keeping on with the detective theme, we have Fallen Aces, a game that's filled to the brim with wise guys of all shapes and sizes. But when the mayor of Switchblade City gets shot at a campaign rally, a trench-coated Avenger known only as Nightwave makes it his mission to find out why. Rather than playing the superhero, you step into the gum-covered shoes of a washed-up private eye and former boxer known only as Mike, who gets mixed up with Nightwave to uncover a sinister plot. From here, we take on a horde of goons using a lethal right hook, the occasional firearm, and every single household object that's not nailed down. Switchblade City is filled with winding alleyways, towering buildings, and sprawling train yards that feel fantastic to explore. And immersive design is at the core of this entire game. There's plenty of places where you'll be able to slip into a window to sneak by, or throw a bottle at a prominent button to progress. Comic book visuals combined with beautifully paneled cutscenes, the animations and environments are packed with detail, and the jazz soundtrack perfectly fits the sleazy pulp crime storyline, while the voice acting dances from gritty drama to comedy gold. While only the first episode is out in early access, 2 more are planned before the 1.0 release. And I'm ready for more. Any game where you get to chuck a wine barrel into the groin of a mafia thug is a real winner in my book. At the $9 tier, we have 2 games that could not be more different from each other, but are equally great in their own right. Blood West is a dark tale of undead cowboy vengeance, and Control-Alt-Ego is a robot possession game about the nature of consciousness that's definitely the most unique immersive sim I've ever played. Blood West is a stealth-heavy, story-driven game that takes place in a cursed land filled with hordes of demons and walking corpses. You start off as a random dead guy, brought back by a shaman as an avenging tool to end this waking nightmare. And from here you'll be sneaking up on zombies, bonking them over the head, gunfighting with eldritch horrors, and crawling all over huge open maps to find the source of the curse. Each cursed artifact you stumble across is another clue that points you in the right direction, and over the course of your travels you'll find plenty of thieves, priests, and prospectors that are willing to help guide your path in exchange for a little favor. RPG systems allow you to slowly build your cowhand into a lethal buckaroo, and you'll need every edge you can get. The West is quite wild here. Gunfights are lethal, and a single bullet in the chamber can be more precious than a fistful of gold. Even though death is not the end, the icy grip of the demonic powers close around your soul a little tighter each time you meet your demise, weakening you until your spirit can be cleansed. Blood West is more of an immersive shooter. It's not as box stacky or systems reliant as some of the other games on the list, but if you're looking for a spooky good time full of six guns, hungry demons, and unholy magic, it's hard to go wrong here. At first, Control-Alt-Ego looks like a game full of cute little robots puttering around a space station. Looks could not be more deceiving. The initial goal is to battle an insidious parasite to try and restore the station's dematerialized inhabitants before it's too late. But what starts out as a British sci-fi comedy about a sentient computer virus blossoms into deep philosophic themes about the nature of life and reality itself. In Control-Alt-Ego, you can become nearly anything in the game, provided your ego is large enough. You don't open a door, you become the door and open yourself. When you're not possessing the various robots and coffee pots on the station, you'll be in control of an adorable, upgradable red shell named Bug22, who can pack a variety of tools and abilities into his unassuming frame. But the central philosophy is, you will die, and that's okay. Security blasted you into chunks? Take over a 3D printer and just print out another body. Or ghost your way into a nearby piece of furniture and figure out a way to move on. It's more about coming up with creative solutions to problems than blasting enemies and destroying stuff. Although, you sure can destroy a whole lot of stuff. If you haven't played Control-Alt-Ego, you need to, especially at this price. It's immersive sim philosophy in its purest form. So there's an overview of the return of the Immersive Sim bundle. But why choose Digiphile? Well, other bundle sites and resellers might try to obscure their keys in sleazy mystery bundles so you don't know what you're getting, or shove a bunch of shovelware inside their bundles to inflate their sense of worth, region lock their purchases so they're useless outside a certain country, or even get their keys from shady sources that cut out the developers entirely. More often than not, you end up with a bunch of extra games that you already own or have zero interest in. These sites don't care whether the games you buy from them ever get played. Cash trades hands, and that's the end of the experience. That's a lot of wasted games just sitting there, untouched, looking sad in the rain like a little puppy dog. But Digiphile does it differently. Every collection is carefully curated by passionate team members and creatives rather than paid influencers and media conglomerates, which means that smaller games and hidden gems have a bigger chance to be discovered. They're self-funded and completely independent, meaning they answer to the community, not the shareholders. And if a bundle isn't ready, it won't go live. Digiphile also works directly with devs and publishers to ensure that revenue cuts go where they're supposed to, with 100% of the proceeds from any developer tips or add-on items like DLCs paid straight to the publisher, and 100% of charity excess going right to the featured cause. And if you end up with something that you already own, you can trade it back to the house to claim a game from another past or future collection. There's even more site features coming like group achievements and special community events. How did this idea even come around? After several years working at Humble, the Digiphile team was disappointed to see it slowly get taken over by big media companies and shareholder interests that just kind of topped off every bundle with slop. So it's been really exciting for me to share in their vision of a better bundle site, one that's focused around people instead of algorithms. And these mad lads just went ahead and made it happen. So by joining Digiphile, you're going to save money, support your favorite developers, help out some worthwhile charities, and be part of a community that's passionate about finding good indie games. What more could you want? Head down to the link in the description or the pinned comment and help Digiphile make bundles better. If you've watched this far, I just want to say thanks. Pretty sure this opportunity would have never been possible without the support of everybody that takes time out of their day to listen to us ramble about some video games. You can always join our band of champions around the Heroes table on Patreon, tip us on Ko-Fi, or hop into our Discord and hang with us anytime. Special thanks goes out to these brave heroes that donate to keep the fireplace burning. Wolfgang Bristol, Kalle Goofsel, Adam Uselman, Amelie McNamara, James Blake, Yaroslav Rybaki, Jim DiFrancesco, Vulpes, Cameron Frement, John Williams, Mirek Hotovi, San Lunet, Thorben Peltzer, and the rest. Your likes and subs are always appreciated, as well as hitting that weird hype button thing on mobile, whatever it does. Maybe it's cool. Tell me if you know what it does down in the comments, because I don't know. In the meantime, if you're looking for more videos to watch, we've got dozens just like this one on our channel. Go have a look. Thanks again for being here, and we'll see you on the next Two-Headed Hero.